Thank you so much for joining us today. Due to the Memorial Day weekend, it's been 3 days since we've had a briefing for our residents, and there's a lot to catch up on. Mayor Demings will talk about, among other things, the COVID numbers, the latest COVID numbers, the Economic Recovery Task Force, which meets tomorrow, and numerous other items. Mayor Buddy Dyer's here to discuss his visit to another one of Orlando's mobile drive-through and pedestrian accessible testing sites. And Dr. Raul Pino will be here to help us interpret the COVID-19 numbers. And now, Mayor Jerry L. Demings.
All right, thank you, Jane. Good afternoon to all of you. Hopefully you had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend here as we began to open up businesses here within Orange County. My goal today is to really tell you what the priorities are for this week. Each Monday, the beginning of the week, I try to tell you what it is that we hope to accomplish. So there are 4 goals primarily that we are looking to accomplish this week. Number 1, to prevent the spread of the coronavirus and facilitate more testing in our community. So you're going to hear this theme going through what we're going to talk about this afternoon. Number 2, to continue to reopen tourism in Orange County. Number 3, to define the process for local businesses to receive CARES Act monies. And number 4, define the process for individuals, families, and social service organizations to access the CARES Act funding. So those are the 4 goals that we're looking at accomplishing this week. So to start here is I have to talk a little bit about the numbers each week. And Orange County now has 1,849 positive cases of the coronavirus over time within our community. Dr. Pino will talk to you and let you know that better than 80% of those individuals have recovered from the virus. We do have 39 individuals, however, who have died as a result of the virus within our community. We have now tested over 56,000 individuals with a positivity rate of 2.8%. Now, I want you to think about that. That's low. The state of Florida has a positivity rate of 5.7%. So we're about half of what the rate is for the entire state of Florida, when we are the #1 tourist destination for the state, with one of the largest counties by population within the state of Florida. Today through Thursday, free COVID-19 testing is happening at Mid-Florida Tech. You do not have to have symptoms in order to get tested, but you have to be an Orange County resident, and we primarily are focusing on individuals 18 or older. Mayor Dyer will talk more specifically about drive-through testing within the city of Orlando. In addition, anyone who gets tested at the Mid-Florida Tech location will receive a free packet of face masks and some hand sanitizer. Also, Dr. Pino is here to give more details about the Department of Health testing that will be done this week as well. Earlier today, I had the privilege to preview the WebEx presentations by 2 of our larger theme parks and attractions. Tomorrow morning, Walt Disney World and SeaWorld will present virtually before the Economic Recovery Task Force to share their reopening plans. We are looking forward to sharing good news about their plans. The task force will be meeting from 10 a.m. until noon, and it will be broadcast live on Orange TV. In preparation, an Orange County inspection team visited SeaWorld and Walt Disney today to determine if they were in compliance with those recommended guidelines by the CDC and the governor's executive order, et cetera. The inspection team was made up of 2 representatives from the Florida Department of Health in Orange County, the county's EMS medical director, the county building official, and the director of the county's Planning, Environmental, and Development Services. I look forward to receiving the feedback from the inspection team based upon what they observed today. We do not expect to see the theme parks' final presentations until they come before the task force tomorrow morning. Of course, after they make their final presentations, they will be made available to the public. If the task force approves the plans or recommends approval of the plans, I will write a letter of endorsement to Governor DeSantis, similar to what I did last week for Universal Orlando and the 12 smaller attractions, many of which opened up this past weekend. Also, before the task force will be a report on the Consumer Confidence Survey results. If you didn't get a chance to complete the survey, we ended that this past Friday. But I'm happy to report that we had over 15,000 responses, and our team will be going over survey findings with the task force on Wednesday morning, tomorrow morning. You'll hear more details about what our residents told us in terms of the consumer confidence surveys. We know the pandemic and its fallout have created many questions and anxiety for our residents concerning their rents and mortgage payments. I hear it. I get it. I know that people have been chronically stressed now because of anxiety over paying the mortgage payments and rents. But we are going to be, in our own way, offering some assistance to those individuals in order to help our residents navigate tenant rights, evictions, and other housing assistance information. We have put together some answers to frequently asked questions on these topics. Many residents are rent stressed, and we are working hard to provide programs and assistance to them. But if they want information about what can a landlord do or not do during this period of time, we encourage them to go to our website at ocfl.net/housing FAQs. Again, that's ocfl.net/housing FAQs. They can go to the webpage and access frequently asked questions in English, Spanish, and Creole. I want to thank our housing division and the Community Legal Services of Mid-Florida for putting together the responses to the frequently asked questions that we see and hear in our community. Now, let me talk a little bit about additional distribution of personal protective equipment. We will continue this week with our effort to adequately prepare our community with protective equipment, and we will focus on the faith-based community by providing them with personal protective equipment necessary to safely conduct services for their congregations. As you all know, many of these houses of worship are reopening as well, and we want to assist them in providing PPE to them. What we're asking from them is this, to go online and register to be able to receive some of the PPE. We are opening up that window tomorrow to, again, the faith-based houses of worship and an opportunity to receive a supply of face masks from Orange County later this week. They can get information on this by going to our website at ocfl.net/PPE. And this will be a one-day event that we're going to do. The goal is to distribute the PPE to the houses of worship on Friday the 29th. So stay tuned to hear more about that. Again, we encourage them to go to our website. And now let me talk a little bit about our small business grant program. Again, we are receiving numerous inquiries from small businesses about how can we access the funds. Well, this week we will endeavor to further define that process where $72.9 million will be made available through the CARES Act funding that we received, and we're calling it our Small Business Grant Program. I reiterate that the actual applications will not be taken until the first week in June. However, information will be put up on our website beginning tomorrow about the documents that will be necessary so that they can get prepared to make the application. The program will get, program participants will get a one-time $10,000 grant if they have 25 employees or less and they are approved through the process. Our goal is to assist 6,500 small businesses in Orange County, and I know that that's probably just a fraction of the total number of businesses that need assistance. But our goal is to assist up to 6,500 small businesses. Again, our website address is ocfl.net/orange-cares, /orange-cares, and you can get information about the documents that will be needed to make application. And since we are kind of experiencing somewhat of a weather phenomenon now, and this week I understand that it might be a bit of a rainy week for us here in Orange County, it's not lost on me that we're just a week away from beginning hurricane season. And so our staff, in the midst of managing the pandemic, we are beginning that planning process to better manage any response related to hurricanes or other weather phenomena. So we're quite busy, and let me just turn it over to Mayor Dyer at this time to bring additional information.
Thank you, Mayor Demings, and thank you for being here. As we continue to adjust to our new normal, we enter summertime, and as Mayor Demings mentioned, hurricane season is going to be here shortly, so I wanted to talk a little bit about being prepared. So usually this time of year, we talk about preparing hurricane kits at home and hurricane plans, but we must also prepare and adjust every day to the coronavirus pandemic. So for example, at my house, we've made little sanitation stations by each of our front door and back door that have rubbing alcohol and hand sanitizer and paper towels so we can clean our hands and our phones and other things after we've been out, in addition to cleaning the doorknobs and the locks. And I've also created a to-go COVID kit that includes a fresh face covering and hand sanitizer that I keep by the door. You should also perhaps keep one in your car. Most of all, these kits and sanitation stations make it easy to ensure that you don't forget, and you always have the critical tools you need to keep fighting the spread of the virus. It's important in the days ahead that we remain diligent in our efforts. Talk to your friends, talk to your family about your health and safety protocols, and I encourage you to, just as you would put together your hurricane kit, put together your COVID kits. The virus is still here, and we must not let our guard down. We must remain prepared, and we must remain vigilant. We continue in our testing. We were at the Smith Center today and tested over 200 individuals. We will be at the Beardall Center on Thursday and the Rosemont Community Center a week from today on Tuesday. Other ways that you can help in our community. Donating blood is a good way to save lives. It's critical to donate blood as often as you can and to make it a habit. Just last week, I hit the 8-week mark since the last time I had given blood right outside here with Mayor Demings. So I was eligible, and I joined One Blood last Wednesday to donate blood again. And additionally, as part of my blood donation, it was tested for COVID-19 antibodies. For every single blood donation that you do with One Blood, they're testing for the COVID-19 antibody also. We continue to fight COVID-19 with no cure or vaccine. Antibody testing and regular testing is critical to that effort. Doctors in the antibody testing use the plasma for coronavirus antibodies to help treat their critically ill coronavirus patients. So I encourage everybody to give blood. The One Blood Mobile will be outside City Hall tomorrow, Wednesday, May 27th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can make an appointment at oneblood.org. As we continue to move forward in our new normal, it's important that we remember the work that we've done over the past 2.5 months and the sacrifices and the changes that we've made. We've saved lives, and we can continue to do so. Our individual and collective actions like practicing physical distancing, wearing face coverings, and being vigilant about personal hygiene are just as important now as when we started this out in mid-February. So with that, I will call on Dr. Pino.
Mayor, thank you. Good afternoon. As Mayor Demings mentioned, we have an accumulative number of cases, which is about, or not about exactly, 1,849, with a recovery rate of about 87%. And unfortunately, we added a new case to our fatalities and our prayers and thought with his family. It is an 80-year-old Latino male. We don't know the exposure yet. He has a significant pre-existing conditions, and he was hospitalized for about 9 days before those outcomes came into play. I also would like to, we start receiving the data from the antibody testing. Orange, as a May 23rd, 12:55 p.m., has tested 329 individuals. 329 individuals were reactive, meaning they had immunity out of 4,275 people that have been tested for antibody test. In the county, that's about 7%. So it's indicating that, as we suspected, there is a penetration of the virus larger than the number of cases that we had seen. So that means probably a good number of individuals have been asymptomatic. And we calculated before that about 10% of the people that we have with positive results has been asymptomatic. We also has about 320 active cases. So out of the 1,800 cases that we have, about 320 continue to be within the infectious period. And the last day that we have a high positivity rate, that was May 15, that was 5.3. Since then, and for the last 10 days, we have been below 2% in positivity rate, which indicates the data continue to perform safe for us, for Orange County. We also continue to do immunizations. Our sites, 2 sites. So far, we have immunized about 700 children for grade 7, and we continue to do that and encourage the family to take advantage of this offering by calling 477-235-0004. You can press number 2 and make an appointment for your child to get immunized. That is for boys and girls who are going into 7th grade. Their immunization needs to be ready and up to date before they get readmitted in schools. With that, I will pass it to Mayor Demings.
Okay, if you have any questions, we would love to respond to them.
Lauren Seabrook, Channel 9. Mayor, I'm not sure if this is for you or for Dr. Pino, because I can't remember if you said your staff or his staff that was on site at the amusement parks today. Both? Okay.
It was a combination of the Department of Health and then various Orange County staff was there.
Could you just tell us, each of you, a little bit about the visits, what you all saw, and what you maybe would like to see implemented if you didn't see it?
I think Dr. Pino's staff was there today. He didn't personally go, but and I'll ask him to come up and he can respond, and then I'll respond.
So I was not in the visit today because we have other activities, but I've been in communication with the APs that were there. I haven't been briefed on many, but I believe they were very happy with what they saw. But I can tell you about my visits, the one that I have done. And you know, everything that we see and try to do to prevent this pandemic from spreading again to the levels that was before in Orange County, everyone has to think dirty and clean. And that's the way that we are also approaching the parks. So every time that someone gets to an attraction, consider that that person has been dirty from the outside, potentially contaminated, but also when they are going to leave the attraction again. And if you do that in multiple areas, what you are going to build is several layers. And so if you don't catch the virus here, if you don't stop here, you stop here. If not, you stop here. And that includes from, you know, wearing the mask, washing your hands, trying to move people traffic in one direction. That's a little bit difficult in the parks because everyone is trying to go into different directions. But as much as possible, trying to move people to the left and to the right. But the parks, in general, all the attraction has been very good about listening to what we are, suggestions that we have offered. And this should not be seen there is no contradiction between health and economic health. They are both, they have to go equally hand by hand. You can only have a health economy if you have healthy people and vice versa. So what we are trying to do in all these attractions and all the parks and activities, how can we engage safely? And that has been the message for the mayor from the beginning, is how can we do this safely?
And Lauren, the only thing I would add is that the feedback that we have been provided with looked at how to re-engage and reopen and to do it safely, not just for the guests, but for the employees as well. So their preliminary plans that I saw today had an abundance of that, where there were requirements for the employees and there were requirements for the guests who will be entering. And so I won't get in front of their presentation tomorrow, but they will walk through many of the details about how they will engage and keep the public safe from the point that they exit their vehicles to the point that they enter the attractions and purchase food, to ride on rides and enjoy the other amenities within the attraction. So I think that it's a healthy balance of looking to ensure, as Dr. Pino referenced, the health issue that we are dealing with, as well as the economic issue. So, okay.
Mayor Demings, it's Steve Hudak from the Sentinel. Many attractions opened this weekend, and more are slated to open tomorrow. How similar are the plans that you reviewed today to the ones that we saw for Universal and for Fun Spot and Gatorland?
As you probably could assume, the plans are very similar. They embody much of the same types of protocols, and clearly there will be some consistency with signage that will be key for all of the parks, that the signage will be in multiple languages to ensure that everyone understands. And so if you are at any one of these parks, I believe you'll see a consistent message at any of our parks, whether they're large or small. Okay.
Alibet Suárez, más 100.7 FM. Mi pregunta es básicamente un comentario de más. Varias personas han contactado a la radio con llamadas y mensajes comentando que las personas no están siguiendo las directrices del distanciamiento social. ¿Se volverá a imponer restricciones previas o se tomarán otras medidas? Por ejemplo, si se comenzará la campaña a través de medios de comunicación, de concientización, por supuesto, que hace varias semanas ya había hecho la pregunta y, bueno, que ya habían dicho que realizarían esta campaña.
All those questions are policy questions, so I may translate for the mayor your question. The question was, the last part of the question was, are we going to initiate a campaign to elevate compliance with the measures that we have put in place? And she also heard some complaints from readers and individuals in the community about people not following social distancing. So is the county thinking about what other steps may take or measures of restrictions to put in place if the numbers elevate in the future?
Okay, to answer the question, yes, part of the reason why we have daily communications between the Department of Health and those of us who make policy is to ensure that we are making adjustments through time relevant to what we're actually experiencing in the community. From that, I believe that if we see an increase in the number of positive cases within our community, we will have to make some adjustments. When I say increase, a significant increase. But by and large, we talked about the low positivity rate of 2.8% here in Orange County. We know that comparatively speaking to some other metropolitan areas around the country, their numbers are spiking significantly more, and we know that from the consumer confidence survey that we did, and that we will share publicly, it will allow us to help educate the public. We know that the overwhelming majority of members in our public now, based on that survey, want to see these various sanitary protocols in place. And so for businesses who intend to be successful as a business, they will have to have these various sanitation touchless types of processes in place. And so if we see non-compliance with the directives that have been put in place, then it's a matter of those who have regulatory authority over those businesses to visit with them to try to educate them and gain compliance if it's a business. When we talk about the public at large, I believe the best enforcers of the public processes and the public desire to wear a mask, et cetera, we rely on members of the public to help police ourselves in that process. And so I see some of that when I'm moving about the community, where I see individuals who will say, you're too close, you're not wearing a mask, where's your mask? They ask me that question sometimes. They ask me, why don't I wear the mask when I'm here at the press conference? And I wear it when I come in. I take it off primarily because I do know that there are some people who read my lips, and I want to make sure that I communicate with them. And so when I'm out in the general public, I'm wearing a mask, and I expect others to do the same. So I believe as a community, when we talk and focus on the positive things that's happening in our community, the fact that we have low numbers, the fact that our hospital systems are not overwhelmed with new cases, that is the good news that we have to kind of focus on in our community, and not the bad news of the virus itself. But never forget that this virus can spread very quickly, and that's where, from a public policy perspective, if the Department of Health shares information with me that we're losing control of this effort, then I'm going to make an adjustment very quickly, and then we'll end up going back to something that we've seen before. If we work together, we can avoid that, and I believe that we will. So, Mayor Dyer, on the policy side, I don't know if there's anything you want to add on it. He says no. So now Dr. Pino can talk about what I just said word for word to you, Dr. Pino.
Yeah. So basically what the mayor, en español, lo que el alcalde acaba de decir es que él está dispuesto a tomar medidas más restrictivas o regresar a medidas anteriores si el consejo de parte de los especialistas de salud indica que hay un elevado número de casos. Recuerda que siempre hemos dicho que va a haber un incremento de casos. Estamos sorprendidos. Y parte de eso es lo que el alcalde estaba diciendo también, es que la comunidad acá, en Orlando y en Orange County en general, ha tomado estas medidas seriamente. Incluso sabemos que hay personas que no, sabemos que hay personas que, pero la gran mayoría de las personas y la gran mayoría de los establecimientos están obedeciendo y siguiendo las instrucciones que se les han dado. Y mira, la realidad va a ser, y los negocios deberían pensar seriamente en esto, si no toman las medidas que tienen que tomar, si no hacen lo que hay que hacer, y establecemos la conexión entre un dueño que ha sido negligente en las medidas que ha establecido y el público se entera de que ese lugar ha sido el lugar donde muchas infecciones fueron adquiridas. La gente debería también pensar en las consecuencias que va a tener económicamente para sus negocios y la subsistencia del negocio, no adherirse a las medidas que se han puesto en práctica. Porque la realidad es que el consumidor que no siente esa confianza no va a regresar a esos lugares.
This next question comes from Danielle Lama and Fox 35 to you, Mayor Demings. Earlier today, the governor said Florida would love to have the Republican National Convention here. Would Orange County be interested in hosting? Has the county reached out to the governor's office about this?
Okay, I'll come back to that question in just a moment. But I want to make sure that Dr. Pino, you can understand English and Spanish. Did he say exactly what I said before? Oh, he did, okay. I just want to check. Otherwise, I would have to ask Ilya Torres to come up. But to respond to your question, I have not been directly made aware that the Republican National Committee has reached out to host the convention here. I had a conference call with the executive director from our convention center earlier today, this afternoon. He had not been contacted, so I'm not sure where that comes from. So we will just, rather than speculate, if there's some desire to bring it to our convention center, we'll deal with it at that time.
This next question comes from Melissa Thomas, Florida National News. Mayor Demings, in the case someone asks, what are your thoughts on the effect of the Brazil travel ban on Central Florida's economy?
The question is, what do I think the effect will be on our Central Florida economy with the ban from Brazil, right? Brazil is one of our major international visit locations. In terms of the visitation here from there is significant. And the ban is not something that will be put in place, I believe, long-term. So it will be a short-term type of a ban, and in the short term, it perhaps will have no greater economic impact on our community than we've already experienced from the other shutdowns and what have you from around the world. Ultimately, our goal will be to see our tourism return at an appropriate time, and we may not be there yet. In order to control the spread of the virus internationally and within the borders of the U.S., we probably are not there yet where we can just simply reopen everything. So what you have seen, I believe, is a very methodical approach to reopening the economy here in Florida, and certainly that's my primary goal, is to have this balanced reopening here within our community. So I work across the county, the entire Central Florida. We have weekly meetings with the surrounding counties where we talk about returning the economy to really all of Central Florida, because that's as a region, we largely brand ourselves, with the Orlando brand, but it really encompasses the entire region. So what we want to do here is do something that is consistent for the whole region, that makes sense for the whole region, perhaps makes sense for all of Florida as we talk about rebuilding our tourism numbers here.
I just have two more. Alexa Lorenzo with Channel 9. Mayor Demings, what dates are SeaWorld and Disney aiming to reopen? Is it before or after Universal?
You'll have to wait until tomorrow when they make their presentation, because, that could change. So until they present to the Economic Recovery Task Force tomorrow, I will allow them that flexibility. It's for them to announce their reopening dates and not me. My job is to make certain that if they reopen, that they reopen with all of the sanitary protocols in place. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay true to what the people of Orange County have asked me to do, and that's it, not to really determine the actual reopening dates for those major corporations. That's something that they have to decide.
And lastly, from Ryan Lynch with Orlando Business Journal. Mayor, for you, besides documents, what else should businesses be aware of when applying for the County CARES Act grants?
Well, they need to be located within Orange County. First off, they need to meet the basic criteria that they have 25 or fewer employees, and that if they're home-based, they need to have at least 3 employees. And they will need to have the documentation, and they will need to be current in all of the business filings and all of that. And if they are able to produce documents that demonstrate that they were adversely impacted economically by this pandemic and by the circumstances that we've experienced here in Orange County, and then they will likely qualify. And there will be some that, unfortunately, we will not be able to serve because we have limited dollars. We have about $72.9 million, and we believe that with hiring of personnel and everyone that needs to process those applications, we believe that we'll be able to serve about 6,500 different businesses at $10,000 grants. So I'm highly excited about that, but there's a lot that has to happen behind the scenes to prepare us with the logistics to be able to execute that plan, and that's why until, we want to get the money out as quickly as we can, but we also want to ensure that it's a seamless process, it's one that's responsive, one that we get held accountable to, because it's federal dollars. We will use the funds to support businesses anywhere within Orange County, regardless of whether they are in a city or not. So if you're not in the unincorporated area, you're in one of our cities, the city of Orlando to the town of Eatonville, if you're in any of those 13 municipalities that fall within Orange County, you become eligible for participation in the program. It'll be a first come, first served kind of a process that we set up. Once we take applications, once we announce the date and we begin to take those applications, we want our staff to be able to process them as quickly as they possibly can. Okay. All right, are there any other questions? We got one over here.
For Mayor Demings, or maybe one of the commissioners, is how are the plans for the hurricane season? Because this is going to be not a normal activities in regard to the centers to have people, the shelters. So, I mean, how are you guys planning on this? Because obviously, a social distance. So let's give a break to Dr. Pino, and I would like, either you or one of the commissioners to.
Okay, we are in the process of understanding how to manage capacity at our various shelters. Typically, we use schools and other locations as shelters. This time around, we will look to perhaps even local hotels to be able to do sheltering. And so we'll put contracts in place to be able to deal with that. We may have to open more shelters if we find where we have evacuees who come in who have been impacted by the storms into our county. Typically, we're a donor county where people come into the county from other counties. But if we are directly impacted, well, we have contingency plans for all of that. So that planning is going forward at this point. Rather than open up one larger shelter, we may have to open up multiple smaller shelters in order to get the kind of capacity that we need. But trust when I say that we are planning. We had a meeting earlier today to start that process, even trying to understand where we are with the current pandemic and how that will compete with the hurricane season that will come surely upon us. And so perhaps we'll have the blessing of God that we don't have any significant storms either, but we always plan for the worst and hope for the best in these processes. So it's there. We have contingency plans in place. All right. Now, if one of our commissioners, we have Commissioner Uribe and Commissioner Gomez-Cadera here. If I don't want to put them on the spot, but if we don't have any other questions, at least in English, we have them in Spanish. Spanish? Okay, we're going to conclude this part of the press conference in English, and we'll transition to our Spanish briefing. And I'm going to ask my colleagues to come forward. The commissioners will come forward if they want to speak, and Ms. Ilia Torres will do the translation for me. And give us just a moment to make a technical change, and then we'll proceed. All right, good afternoon and welcome to the May the 26th briefing here within Orange County regarding our response and recovery efforts associated with the COVID-19 pandemic. I am joined by Ms. Ilia Torres, who will do the translation for me.
Buenas tardes, bienvenidos a esta actualización con relación a la pandemia en el condado de Orange, y me acompaña esta servidora Ilia Torres para la traducción o interpretación del alcalde.
Let me just share with you the goals for this week. We have 4 goals that we hope to accomplish this week. Number 1, to prevent the spread of the coronavirus and facilitate more testing.
El alcalde tiene 4 metas para el transcurso de esta semana. La primera, prevenir la propagación del virus y facilitar más pruebas alrededor del condado.
Continue to reopen tourism in Orange County.
Continuar la reapertura del turismo en el condado de Orange.
Define the process for local businesses to receive CARES Act monies.
Definir el proceso para que los negocios locales reciban fondos federales CARES.
And lastly, to define the process for individuals, families, and social service organizations to access CARES Act funding allotted to Orange County.
Y por último, definir el proceso para que individuos y organizaciones sociales accedan fondos federales CARES.
Orange County now has a total of 1,849 cases and 39 deaths.
En el condado de Orange actualmente tenemos 1,849 casos de COVID y 39 muertes.
I now know from Dr. Pino that 87% or so of those who have tested positive have recovered from the virus in our community.
Nos informa el doctor Pino que alrededor de 87% de esos casos se han recuperado.
We have tested over 56,000 individuals in Orange County, and the positivity rate remains very low at 2.8%.
Hemos realizado sobre 56,000 pruebas de COVID-19 y tenemos una tasa de positividad de 2.8%, que es bastante baja.
This is about half of the statewide positivity rate.
Esta tasa es al menos la mitad de la tasa de positividad del estado.
We will continue to do testing here within Orange County at Mid-Florida Tech.
Continuaremos realizando pruebas esta semana en Mid-Florida Tech.
And there will be several other smaller locations.
Habrán otros centros de prueba en operación más pequeña.
And you can find information by visiting our website at ocfl.net/coronavirus.
Puede obtener más información visitando nuestra página web ocfl.net/coronavirus.
And Dr. Pino will talk in just a few moments about various testing sites managed by the Department of Health.
El doctor Pino nos compartirá en unos minutos detalles sobre los centros de pruebas manejados por el Departamento de Salud.
Earlier today, I previewed the WebEx presentations by two of our larger theme parks and attractions that will be presented tomorrow to the Orange County Economic Recovery Task Force.
Durante el transcurso del día o en horas de la mañana, el alcalde tuvo la oportunidad de revisar los planes de unas atracciones locales que se prevé se presenten mañana en el pleno del Grupo de Trabajo de Recuperación Económica.
The task force will be meeting at 10 a.m. until noon tomorrow, and it will be broadcast live on Orange TV.
La reunión del grupo de trabajo se llevará a cabo mañana en horario de 10 a 12 y será transmitida por Orange TV.
Earlier today, an inspection team made up of two representatives from the Florida Department of Health at Orange County, the Orange County EMS medical director, the county building official, and the county's director of planning, environmental, and development services toured the sites of Walt Disney World and SeaWorld earlier today.
Más temprano hoy en la mañana, un equipo compuesto por dos representantes del Departamento de Salud, el director de Servicios Médicos de Emergencia del Condado, el oficial de edificios del condado y el director de Planificación, Desarrollo y del Medio Ambiente se personaron a Walt Disney y a SeaWorld para una inspección.
I look forward to receiving the feedback from the inspection team.
Espero con entusiasmo recibir la retroalimentación del equipo de inspección.
Again, the final presentations will be made to the Economic Recovery Task Force tomorrow morning.
Nuevamente, la presentación final se hará frente al Grupo de Trabajo de Recuperación Económica mañana en la mañana.
If the task force recommends approval, I will likely write a letter of endorsement to Governor DeSantis, similar to what I did last week for Universal Orlando and the 12 smaller attractions.
Si el grupo de trabajo aprueba los planes de reapertura, el alcalde se prevé emitir una carta de recomendación similar a las que preparó la pasada semana apoyando la reapertura de las 12 atracciones locales.
Okay, let me talk a little bit about some of the many questions that we have received from our residents concerning rent payments and mortgage payments.
El alcalde desea hablar un poco sobre las diferentes preguntas e inquietudes de nuestros residentes que tienen con relación a desalojos y ejecuciones de hipoteca.
Today, we have suspended the serving of evictions or foreclosures within the state of Florida.
Would you repeat that again?
Okay. Today, we still remain under the executive order of the Chief Justice of the Florida Supreme Court to suspend the serving of evictions or foreclosure documents throughout the entire state of Florida.
A la fecha de hoy aún se mantienen suspendidas las acciones de desalojo y ejecuciones de hipoteca, según fue emitida por el juez administrador de la Corte para el Noveno Circuito.
So today there's no process in place to serve evictions or foreclosures.
A la fecha o al día de hoy no existe un mecanismo para llevar a cabo acciones de desalojo o de ejecución de hipoteca.
However, that will likely change next month.
Se prevé que esto, ¿verdad?, pueda cambiar a medida que entramos al próximo mes.
We understand that many of our residents are rent stressed, and we're working hard to provide programs and assistance.
Entendemos que muchos de nuestros residentes tienen una carga económica y están muy preocupados, pero estamos trabajando para desarrollar programas de asistencia.
We want our residents to understand their tenant rights, and we want you to be able to communicate effectively with your landlords regarding your situation.
Queremos que nuestros residentes conozcan sus derechos como arrendadores y que puedan comunicarse de manera efectiva con sus caseros.
So we have answers to your frequently asked questions regarding evictions or foreclosures.
Tenemos respuestas a sus preguntas más frecuentes con relaciones a desalojo y ejecuciones de hipoteca.
You can find those answers by visiting our website at ocfl.net/housing FAQs.
Puede obtener esas respuestas visitando nuestra página web ocfl.net/housing FAQs.
The answers to those related questions can be found on the website in English, Spanish, and Creole.
Las preguntas más frecuentes se encuentran disponibles en español, inglés y creol.
I want to thank our Orange County Housing Division and Community Legal Services of Mid-Florida for putting together the FAQs.
Quiero agradecer a la División de Vivienda del Condado de Orange y a Servicios Legales Comunitarios del Centro de Florida por agregar y preparar esta información.
This week we will be distributing personal protective equipment to houses of worship.
Esta semana estaremos distribuyendo equipo de protección personal a casas de adoración.
An online registration process will be launched tomorrow by going to the Orange County website at ocfl.net/PPE.
El proceso de registro iniciará mañana y las casas de adoración deberán registrarse en la página web ocfl.net/PPE.
And so on this Friday, May 29th, will be a one-day event where if houses of worship register through the website, they will be able to pick up personal protective equipment.
Este viernes 29 de mayo haremos entrega a aquellas organizaciones o casas de adoración que se hayan registrado. Les haremos entrega de equipo de protección personal.
And we will be providing information on our website tomorrow regarding our small business grant program made available through the CARES Act.
De la misma forma, mañana estaremos compartiendo información sobre el programa de subsidio para pequeños negocios con fondos provenientes del CARES Act.
We will provide information about what small businesses will need in order to apply for funding.
Estaremos compartiendo información sobre los documentos e información que los negocios tendrán que presentar para poder aplicar.
I reiterate, however, that applications will not be taken until the first week in June.
Reitero que las aplicaciones no serán aceptadas hasta el 1 de junio, o la primera semana de junio.
But you can go to the website to get information about the documents that you will need in advance in order to apply to receive one-time grants of $10,000.
Usted puede visitar la página web para colectar la información y documentación necesaria que necesita para aplicar para este programa de asistencia única de $10,000 para pequeños negocios.
Our goal is to assist up to 6,500 small businesses in Orange County.
Nuestra meta es asistir a por lo menos 6,500 pequeños negocios en el condado de Orange.
And so with that, I'm going to ask Dr. Pino to come forward and share some additional health-related update information.
Invitamos al Dr. Pino a compartir información relacionada.
Gracias, alcalde. Buenas tardes, mi gente. Como el alcalde dijo en su presentación, tenemos 1,849 personas, eso es acumulativo, y 1% del 2.8 también acumulativo de casos positivos. Se ha recuperado el 87% de las personas que han contraído la enfermedad y desafortunadamente una persona murió recientemente. En nuestras oraciones con su familia en este momento difícil. La persona de 80 años, masculino, latino, con importantes problemas de salud antes de adquirir la enfermedad y estuvo hospitalizado por 9 días. También estamos empezando a recibir datos de los antibody testing que se están haciendo. Hay una diferencia entre antibody y el test que hacemos. El test que te hacen en la nariz o en la boca lo que busca es la presencia del material genético del virus. Y este otro test que estoy hablando, lo que hace es buscar la presencia de reacción inmunológica al virus. Entonces quiere decir, lo tuviste y tuviste una reacción inmunológica, tienes inmunidad. De 4.275 personas que se han hecho la prueba del antibody testing, de los anticuerpos, 329 resultaron reactivas. También quisiéramos decirles que tenemos aproximadamente 320 personas activas con el virus en la comunidad. Eso quiere decir personas que están entre los 14 días desde que adquirieron la enfermedad. Y les recordamos que esto es un número que no es muy seguro en el sentido de que cada persona se recupera de una manera diferente y a una velocidad diferente, pero al menos nos da una idea de cuál es el máximo número de personas que están positivos. En los últimos 10 días no hemos tenido ningún día con más del 2% positivo, lo cual indica que la base de datos y la enfermedad se continúa comportando de una manera positiva para el condado. No hemos visto un aumento significativo del número de casos y continuamos en el proceso de reapertura que el alcalde describió anteriormente. También quisiera decirle que cerca de 700 niños y niñas ya han sido inmunizados para el grado 7 y que continuamos con este proceso. Tenemos aproximadamente 11,000 niños y niñas que necesitan esa vacunación. Y para eso deberían llamar al número 407-723-504-5004. Si su niño o niña van para el 7º grado, la inmunización tiene que estar actualizada antes de que puedan entrar a la escuela. Con eso podemos responder cualquier pregunta que ustedes tengan. Alcalde.
Okay, and now we'll open it up for questions. Questions of Dr. Pino and myself, or even our commissioners. We have Commissioner Uribe that's still here.
Buenas tardes, Edgar Carrillo de Telemundo. Quisiera preguntar al doctor, después de haber visto las imágenes de este Memorial Day Weekend, la gente cómo estuvo comportándose en playas o en parques o en piscinas, y teniendo en cuenta que ya la semana que viene es inminente que se va a abrir Universal, se va a abrir tal vez los otros parques cuando anuncien mañana. Si trasladamos ese comportamiento a los parques temáticos, ¿cuál sería o qué anticipa usted que pudiera pasar desde el punto de vista estrictamente científico?
Mira, la situación con los parques es la siguiente. Los parques no solamente afectarían Orange. Si los parques estuvieran en full capacity y los vuelos estuviesen viniendo con mucha gente, lo que sucede en los parques afecta a la Florida, los Estados Unidos y el mundo. Nosotros recibimos 75 millones de habitantes, de visitantes cada año. Entonces, es supremamente importante, y se lo hemos hecho saber a los parques, y ellos lo saben. Es supremamente importante que las medidas se preserven en los parques y en cualquier medio en el cual haya más de 10 personas. Y tú estabas diciendo lo que ha sucedido acá y en muchos otros lugares con el fin de semana. Y lo hemos visto a través de lo que está sucediendo con barberos que estuvieron infectados y proveyeron servicios, o con servicios religiosos que no mantuvieron la distancia, o con fiestas que no subieron a hacerse. La gente tiene que estar consciente de que nosotros somos los que transmitimos el virus. Nosotros somos los que lo movemos de un lugar a otro. El virus no se mueve solo, no vuela, no camina, no nada. Se mueve, lo movemos nosotros. Y entonces es importante observar esas medidas en los parques. Es crítico para nosotros, para los Estados Unidos y para el mundo.
Mi pregunta para el doctor Pino, ¿qué medidas o acciones se están realizando en este momento para educar y crear conciencia en la comunidad en general, también en los negocios, Más allá del uso de las redes sociales, ¿qué mensajes está llevando esto de que está comentando?
Pues mira, estas conferencias de prensa son parte de ese esfuerzo y las tenemos 3 veces a la semana. También estamos en los medios sociales, estamos todos involucrados. Yo personalmente respondo a preguntas en los medios sociales a las personas y recibimos muchas preguntas directamente en el departamento. En algún momento estuvimos recibiendo hasta 1,000 llamadas al día. Hay un proceso de concientización con la gente y gracias a ustedes yo creo que en gran parte los resultados positivos que hemos tenido en el condado se debe a la respuesta que ha tenido nuestra gente y se debe al tipo de información que ustedes están proveyendo con nosotros. Yo pienso que sí. El problema de las campañas es que cuestan plata, no son baratas, y hay que buscar la manera de que sean más efectivas. No solamente hacer una campaña por hacer una campaña. Yo creo que la próxima fase en nuestras campañas sería localizarla a los lugares donde vemos mayor actividad del virus y cómo podemos hacer ese target. Y eso se puede hacer con social media, específicamente a muchos de los servicios de la internet ofrecen esa habilidad de hacer targeting messages a las áreas que están más afectadas por una enfermedad. Gracias.
William Díaz, en relación a lo que acaba de señalar el doctor Pino, hace tiempo vengo pensando que ciertamente, como decía mi compañera, hay que llevar adelante unas campañas intensas, a pesar de que tenemos unas cifras que parecieran ser optimistas. Y usted señalaba que cuestan dinero, es obvio que cuestan dinero, pero también pienso que se pudiese crear un poco de concientización. Nosotros en nuestra emisora, en Más 100.7, se están haciendo esporádicos anuncios. También sé que lo está haciendo Telemundo, pero no lo están haciendo todos los medios. Entonces, quizás, ¿por qué no pensar en hacer un pool de medios, de diferentes medios de comunicación, para que apoyemos el trabajo que ustedes están haciendo? Porque no solamente va a ser a través de las redes, y quizás inventarse algo, un 2x1, o sí, un anuncio pagado y un anuncio gratis, o uno pagado y 2 gratis, de acuerdo a las posibilidades de cada quien.
No, con respecto a eso, el condado también hizo una serie de campañas en los billboards, en los highways, y lo hicimos con la hepatitis A y lo haremos de nuevo. Incluso muchas de las compañías nos ofrecieron la posibilidad de hacerlo de gratis en los digitales, en los billboards digitales, en las pancartas digitales que cuando no tienen suficiente reservación hecha, pues nuestros mensajes entran. Sí se puede hacer y lo hemos hecho y lo continuaremos haciendo. Sí se puede.
Le agradecería a usted, doctor Pino, y que le dejen saber al alcalde qué fue lo que dije.
Sí.
Que tiene cara de...
Yo le digo.
Okay.
Yo le traduzco.
Okay, it does not appear that there are any other questions, so we'll conclude. Thank you all for being patient today. Muchas gracias.
No hay más preguntas, damos por concluida esta rueda de prensa.